Hi, friends, and welcome. We live in this crazy, chaotic, unpredictable world. And I don't like to spread fear, but it's not like me, but it's not gonna get any more stable, harmonious, and predictable anytime soon. I hope you agree. Having this in mind, one of the most precious things that we can teach our kids is a healthy coping mechanism, one or many. So, teaching them some healthy ways in which you can cope with depression, anxiety, fear, isolation, chaotic, difficult situations, unpredictable changes is essential. And believe me, you don't have to be a therapist. You don't have to hold an official degree in order to teach a child a healthy way to cope with something that is overwhelming and destructive. When we are kids, we tend to be more optimistic. We look at the world with those rose colored glasses, right? But once puberty hits the fan, then, well, and we take off those rose colored glasses, we kind of realize that we are in trouble. We start to see things that we don't want to see, that we don't like to see. We see all the inequalities, all the injustice of all kinds. We see the madness of this world. We see the anxieties. Our parents are no longer our idols. We love them, of course we do. They are our parents, but we don't adore them anymore. We don't look up to them as we used to. And we start to see their faults. We start to see their shortcomings. We even start to notice some generational patterns. Lack mentality, poverty, abuses of all kinds, violence, unrealized potential, and we don't like it. This makes a teenager either enraged or depressed. Of course, not every teenager is the same, but this is kind of like the classical response to what's happening inside of us and what's happening outside of us. Truly speaking, I prefer a raging teenager instead of a depressed one. Not a violent teenager, but an enraged one. Why? Because rage can be funneled. Rage can be turned into action, into something creative and or productive. And this is where you, as a parent, as a caregiver, you come into action. Now, before we talk about that, I want to ask you about your own healthy coping mechanism. What are your own healthy ways in which you cope with difficult things that life throws at you? And if nothing comes to mind right away, just think about the healthy ways that helped you go through the last pandemic. What kept you alive and functioning back then? If you want to share some of those healthy mechanisms, please do so in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you, and maybe you can inspire many other people. Thank you. For me, reading books, whatever books in general, became an obsession and healing modality at the same time, because I know that there's a good book out there for every mood that I find myself in. And I know that there's a book that is gonna get me through a difficult, challenging moment in my life. Why am I talking about you now? Because kids tend to learn from us. Learn by observing us and imitating us. So if you turn off the TV and your computer and you pick up a book, well, the kid will do the same. So it's kind of our responsibility to teach them, to encourage them to dance, to run, to do some gardening, to play an instrument, to play some sports, to do meditation or breathing exercises. Even short session of 5-7 minutes can help a child go through a difficult period, relax a bit, focus better. Encourage your child to play with paint, with clay, with wood, with fabrics of all kinds, with car parts. Teach and encourage your kid to write something, to journal, to read, to express themselves, to watch a funny series that can uplift their moods, to spend some time in nature, ground yourself, or do some voluntary work. Anything or everything that can get them out of their room, out of their mind, and out of their heavy emotions, and bring them into their bodies, into their present moment, and into action, into creation, and into a better, brighter state of mind. As adults, we are so consumed by perfectionism, efficiency, and goals, and we kind of tend to put those standards, to place those high standards on our kids' creations. When it comes to creative outlets, kids are great at this. Yes, because they do not create with those things in mind. When they come out with their first creation, no matter what, a song, healthy, crazy, spicy dish, a film, a painting, don't get overly critical and start to ask all those questions. Like, you're not gonna make a living with that. Where are you gonna sell that? Who's gonna buy that? And all those things that we kind of tend to ask ourselves. Just give them some time. They're not gonna turn into a Picasso, a Beyonce, or a Tarantino overnight, right? And that's not what we want. What we really want, in fact, is to create those healthy habits, those healthy coping ways that can keep our kids grounded, healthy, happy, alive, and sane.